Have taken your game to another level this season to make another special run?
It's exciting. Once you hear your name get called in selection Monday, it all is just a rush. With all the traveling and getting on the plane and checking into the hotel late at night, and having practice yesterday is really exciting feeling. It's just the real storyboard of the NCAA tournament.
I gotta agree with JT. It was just exciting. Last year we didn't really know if we were gonna make it, but this year we were certain, and it was just a matter of who we were gonna play and where we're gonna play. And we're in another sunshine type of state, so I'm excited. We're not in the cold, but like JT said, we had a long flight. We had to get up, had practice, but Coach said yesterday, like, we're here now, like, we're in this moment, so we can't think about, this is our Miami. And so we just have to, I think we're getting pretty used to, the time change and everything. I don't think we're, tired, and we're just focused right now, so we're just excited to get playing.
Hi, Harold Gutman with the Miami Herald. Jessica, your numbers in the postseason are so much better than they are in the regular season. It's almost twice as many points. What do you think it is about the postseason with you?
During the off season, you put in a lot of hard work for moments like this, and once it comes March, everything that you've worked on just becomes repetition, and it just becomes natural because just so many hours that I put in the gym just forms within itself.
Adrian, how has Jessica taken her game to another level to lead this team, and from assist to turnover ratio, and also her three-point shooting in some big games recently in back-to-back?
I just think, JT's had it all season. She's done it all season. People don't give her, the credit that she really, should get. And I tell her all the time, we've worked hard for everything, we just not us personally, but as a team. And so JT's numbers, it's not surprising to me. I mean, we come in together. I know what she can do, and it's just a matter of everybody else realizing, she's done this, and she's playing with a tremendous amount of confidence right now, and I love it. Just knowing, people are gonna, just think of Miami as, or just, I don't know, just looking at me, but JT has it too. It's kind of hard to guard two guards that can do what we can do. So I'm extremely proud of her. She's been, she's had us on her back at the ACC tournament, most definitely. So it's fun playing alongside with her.
What do you guys expect out of South Dakota State, and what is your guys' advantages, do you think, going into the game?
Expecting wise, we know South Dakota State is a hard-nosed, fought team. We've done a lot of film on them, watched a lot in their conference tournament. They can shoot the three ball like crazy from all around the roster. And we know defensively, they like to get in and on defense as well. So we know they're a hard-fought team, and we know it's going to be a battle.
Agree with JT. We've watched a tremendous amount of film on them. Coaches, coaches got a game plan intact, and I think, we pretty much got them down pat. We know how we need to defend them, and like JT said, they shoot the three ball crazy. I know one game we watched the first quarter, and there was like 6 threes, and coach was like, "This is just the first quarter." And so, like JT said, the whole roster can shoot. So they're a really hard-nosed, fought team. They don't quit. They have a great. They're tough. They have a tough mentality, so it's going to be a great game.
Hi, this is for both of the players. It's been so long since Miami's gotten out of a regional. I know you've only been here for 3 years, but what would it mean to take the program to the next level?
It's funny because last year, Coach had me stand on the court and watch Iowa celebrate going to the Sweet 16 when they beat us. And that's just been a burning sensation, we've used it as motivation the whole season, off season. We had one mindset just to take another step closer. And it'd be crazy to say that it's not our goal to go to the Sweet 16, and make it to Lexington. So.
Adrian, you guys, you just kind of referenced how that team will, South Dakota State will want to establish its three-point shooting and kind of get off to a quick start in the first quarter. How do you set the tempo? I mean, you two guards getting things rolling right away so you can match that and get off to the start and set the tone.
Yeah, I think just sticking to the game plan. Like I said, we've watched a tremendous amount of film. We know what the tendencies and what they like to do. So just sticking to what coaches and the other coaches have told us and instilled in us. And, we just have to stay. I know it's going to be a bunch of jitters. I'm probably going to have a little jitters, but, once the first bucket is scored, I think we're going to settle down and play Miami basketball. It's just a matter of sticking to the game plan and sticking to what the coaches have told us in the last couple days.
A follow-up. Are you two willing to share some quirky things about this team that those of us out here in the West don't know, or something fun about each other that would, add some interest?
I think you're looking at the two biggest goofballs on the East Coast. I mean, you just really have to just look at our team and just see how we interact with each other. We're like nonstop laughing. I know we have the coaches laughing all the time, but I think you're really looking at the two. We love to laugh and joke, but when we get on that court, oh man, you don't want to mess with us. Like we're serious. But I think us being captains in Michelle Woods, we kind of set the tone. We kind of don't let anything get too tense, but at the same time, we make sure we're all about business. So I think one thing that you need to know is we're always laughing and joking. We're laughing and joking on the way here, and it's just fun. We just want to keep everybody. It could be really stressful, and we just want to make sure everybody realizes that we're here to have fun.
Examples. What do I have?
Oh, no, I got the jitters.
I mean, it's just so many things, even on the way here. I don't know. What do you think?
We just walk in like this morning to breakfast, just playing with the coaches. I think they were over there having their meetings, and I was just playing with Coach Blue, just laughing and joking. So I think we're the jokesters of the team, but I know Coach has a lot of respect for us and being the jokesters, and we can be serious at the same time, because she's a big jokester too, but she's tough on us.
That's who we get it from.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's easy to overlook the mid-major conferences. How are you guys going to prevent yourself from doing that going into this game?
We have tremendous respect for South Dakota State and what they've been doing with their program. So I think we know we can't. It's the NCAA tournament, and even in the ACC, you can't take any opponent lightly. So even with South Dakota State, you can't take them lightly. It's the first round, make that first step, and then you're moving on into the NCAA tournament. So I think we know as a team, we know as a program, we can't take anybody lightly.
Are there any additional questions for the student athletes? All right, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Well done, ladies.
We are now joined by Miami head coach Katie Meyer. Coach, if you could provide us with a brief opening statement before we take questions.
We want to be the most excited team in the entire tournament. First thing I told them in practice was celebrate everything. We are an emotional team. I think we're really fun to watch. We're really fun to be a fan of. They're super, super, super individuals. And I was joking around. Usually this time of year, coaches are sick of their team, and I just love this team. I'm having a ball with them. We even did a European tour in August, so we've had an extra long season together, and they're just a lot. They're not kidding. They are a lot of fun, but they do their work. And so, as a coach, I just want the season to continue for them, and frankly, for me, because I really love this team.
Questions?
Hi, Coach. Is San Diego State comparable to any team that you've played this year?
Not San Diego State.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've slipped that up there. Not really, no. And we did it, purposefully challenged ourselves in the non-conference, playing teams like Wright State and playing at Old Dominion and at Charlotte to try to get ourselves traveling and playing teams that, play different styles so that we could do quick turnarounds and preps and stuff. I think, honestly, the most team that plays like South Dakota State was the Netherlands national team that we played, because they had a very similar style with their post players that can stretch the floor so much, and they run, and they pass the ball so quickly. Their pace of play is something that is similar to some European teams. They're very well coached, and it's been, I told Aaron today in our meeting, I said, I've enjoyed watching film on you. Like, I've learned a lot as a coach just watching them.
Tom.
Oh, hi, Katie. Tom Fitzgerald, San Francisco Chronicle. Adrian was just saying that these two are the biggest goofballs on the East Coast. Do you agree with that?
I do.
And why?
Did you hear her say I was funny too, though? Did that make the microphone? Because they're very playful. They're competitive, but they're playful in their competitiveness. The only times that we've played, not to our standards this year, they were kind of tight and they weren't as fun, and they know that about themselves. But with accomplishment comes confidence, and then with confidence comes belief. But they've done stuff, and so when they do stuff, when they work and work, and then they get confident, then we can kind of have that belief and free ourselves up a little bit and not get overstressed. But the work comes first before the fun, for sure.
If I could do a follow-up, what would you say were the high points, a couple of high points in the season and low points?
Wow. High points, I think, very early on, we won all those games in a row, but it was such a new team. I mean, we had lost 3 starters, and so when we gelled, we had a game very early at Clemson in the ACC that we could do no wrong. I mean, the ball moved, the shots went in, and it wasn't obviously a huge win, but just moments where you start seeing how great the team could be. I found that pretty early with this team, and I really enjoyed them. I think that it was a high point and a low point at the same time. The way we played at Florida State on the final regular season game, that was us. And then we commanded that game and controlled the game for 32 minutes. And so the low point was we deserved that win and didn't get it. The high point was then beating them again in the conference tournament and playing just ridiculously well.
And one more thing. I'm looking at your projected starters. You don't have any height here, very little height. I'm sure you faced a height disadvantage in a lot of games. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's been times I was the tallest person on the team. That's not true anymore, so that's good. When the coach is taller than anyone on our team, that was bad. But no, I think we do really well with our size. I think we're long. We might not have a lot of height, but we're long and we cover ground well, and that's my philosophy and how we play. So.
How tall are you?
6'1".
When your team has had to make these cross-country trips, but when you see the bracket and you're coming to Stanford, where you're going to see someone like Tara during the course of a weekend, and how does that? Does that add some excitement? This is a story building and a storied coach, a Hall of Fame coach,
right? And
also, what do you think of the matchup, with Tara against Jennifer Azzi?
I think that's great. That's a great storyline. It's great for women's basketball. Tara is somebody that, I've been very blessed. I think I came up in a generation of coaches that benefited from Title IX as getting the scholarships. Completely, 100% changed my entire life and all my goals and everything that I can provide for even my family and stuff. Just Title IX being one of those. And then having the coaches that were in that generation before me that just fought all the battles that I don't fight anymore. Am I going to complain about flying across country and afraid? No. I can't, because I'm humbled by what the coaches before have created in women's basketball. And I'm one of those coaches that does tell history lessons to my team, does remind them who these people are. Tara walked into our practice yesterday at the end and introduced my team to her. I want them to know how special she is, and an Olympic coach and all that stuff that she is. But she's just so humble and friendly and so generous to the younger coaches that, I think she wants the next generation to continue to act the way and treat the sport the way that she's treated it. And I promise I will and have.
Hey, Coach, what's the number one thing your team's got to do tomorrow to beat South Dakota State?
Number one thing. Well, I think pace of play is going to be really interesting. So the number one thing would be that we play at the pace that we want. I'm not going to tell you what that is. But their pace of play and our pace of play is very interesting and very important to both teams.
Hi, Coach. Jessica told the anecdote about you making her watch the Iowa Celebrate last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was a conscious decision on your part.
Right.
Because it had a desired effect since you brought it up today. Is that?
Yeah,
you're hoping
I
for?
hope so. I mean, she's the ultimate competitor. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I call her that she's our motor and the fuel, you know. And if she chose her fuel, it would be diesel. I mean, and I'm more maybe unleaded, maybe super unleaded. But but the thing that we have so in common is this. You know, we learn way more from losses, and we take moments like that, and that just drives us, and then we don't stop working, and we have that totally in common. And I knew of one kid that I had to grab. The team left, and I grabbed her back, and I yanked her back onto the court, and I said, "You stand there and watch this." And she hasn't stopped working since that moment. So I'm glad it did have the effect.
Was she already out?
She was going through the tunnel, and I went back and kind of reached and grabbed her and put my arm around her, and we sat and watched Iowa celebrate.
How did she react to that initially?
That's how you coach her. That she wanted that moment. She wanted that moment just to ingrain in her brain. And I'm so proud of her development, and Adrian too. I mean, they've changed their bodies, they've changed their games. I mean, they've really developed at the University of Miami. You know, we don't have any McDonald's All-Americans, but yet we continue to be teams that do have them, and it's player development, but it's their attitude. They enjoy being in the gym. They enjoy being around the coaches. We enjoy being around them, and so, you know, that's an extra 2 or 3 hours a week of just coming by the office or whatever, because it's comfortable, and we really do have a great culture, and they absolutely are the reason.
Coach, you spoke a little bit about about pace of play, how that is going to be a key factor, but what do you expect out of South Dakota State that might scare you a little bit, or the scouting report on them from your point of view?
Well, and our players, I'm glad that they reference it, because I haven't said it enough, but they're just hard-nosed and so tough. So I don't think they need something. They're not spoiled. They don't need to play this way or need to play that way, or they have to hit shots to play hard. Like, no matter what, I've seen a ton of games, and they are so committed to each other. You know, their huddles are just so intense on the court. Anyone will be the unknown hero, unsung hero. Like, they'll all play that role if they have to. And so that's what I love about them, and so that's really important to them, and we got to do something about that.
If we go back to the humor side of these two gals, I mean, they're upperclassmen. How do they balance that? I mean, and how much does that help the young kids coming into the program to feel comfortable? And can you share a little bit on that?
But one thing they didn't tell you, but they do, is before the game, and I think it's obnoxious, but they love it, so I let them do it. But they do this little dance, and Motley does this thing called the wobble, and she just kind of sticks her butts out and wobbles around right before, no matter what game it is, right before we go out, they huddle up, and then Jit does this little stomp with her feet, and you know, I try not to watch it because I'm almost like, they're not ready, they're not taking it seriously enough, but that's their thing. I think the Dutch kids thought they were weird when they first joined. They were like, what is this? But that is part of them saying, you know, because they're our hardest workers, because they're statistically two of our best players, they set a tone of, you know, if someone else was goofing off, they'd probably jump them, but they're allowed to, because they know that that balances them very well.
Are there any additional questions?
It's been a while since Stanford has changed their court from the springy to now. I don't know if you played on the springy court, but are you happy?
I'm trying to remember. I walked across it and I wanted to bounce and it didn't bounce. I was disappointed. I don't know. I'll tell you after practice. I don't know if I'm happy or not.
Did you not practice in there yesterday?
No.
Where did you guys?
The practice facility. Yeah. I do want to say though that Stanford they've done such a great first-class job of hosting so far. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So we're very glad when you get sent to the NCAA tournament and you don't host, and we will host one day, but we lost a couple games this year. We blew that opportunity. But to go somewhere that is, you want your players to feel like they're on the largest stage, the most important stage. You want your players to feel like this requires the best out of you, and this environment provides that for us, and so I'm glad we will play well because of that.
Cheryl Coward, hoopfeed.com. With the changes in the ACC over the past couple of years, addition of Louisville and Notre Dame, even with those changes, the conference hasn't missed a beat as far as competition. Can you talk about that level of competition and being prepared for NCAA?
Right. It's, for me, so I played in the ACC, and then, I was just blessed to be able to coach in the ACC, and then, we added the Big East teams, right? Miami was one of them, but we were already in the ACC when Pitt, Syracuse, Louisville, Notre Dame. And it was just like this unbelievable influx of unbelievable strategies. And so I kind of had my ACC thing down. I knew what Carolina was going to do. I knew what Duke was going to do. And all of a sudden, you had 7 more term papers that you had to do during the year to get ready for these teams. So it was really interesting. Like the first time we played Louisville, the first time we played Notre Dame, it was just like, wow, completely kind of a lot of different styles. And now up and down the roster of the ACC, you're going to have every possible philosophy, style of play, type of talent. You take like the power forward position in the ACC and you look at each team, you look at that 4 or the swing player. That right there, really, each team has a different one. And it's just unbelievable. So your matchups are always kind of interesting, and you got to cover some stuff up. So we feel seasoned because we've been through such a great conference, for sure.
Any additional questions? Great, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.